When you've been told your desires are a modern corruption, you instinctively look backward. You hunt through the dust of history, trying to find the very first gay person to prove you belong. But have gay people always existed? The answer is a paradox, yes and no. If we're looking for same-sex behavior, the answer is an easy yes. It's ancient, and as we see across the animal kingdom, entirely natural. But behavior is just what a body does. Identity is the story a society tells about what those acts mean. Our ancestors felt desire, but they didn't live inside our modern maps of sexual orientation. We can't find a single gay origin because they were using a different map entirely. Long before humans built legal systems, early communities were organized around raw survival, securing food, shelter, and the next generation. They used kinship as their primary operating system. It was the network that managed how property moved, who worked for whom, and which groups formed alliances. To secure legitimate bloodlines, these systems focused on the strict regulation of women's reproductive capacity. Same-sex acts were viewed through this practical lens. A group didn't ask if an act was gay. They asked if it disrupted the machinery of inheritance and labor. These early sexual rules were political tools used to manage society. They show that what we often call natural began as a specific arrangement designed to protect property and power. We often see this power play in the stories we tell about ancient Greece. Popular culture sometimes treats Athens like an ancient pride parade, but the Greeks had no word for homosexuality. They used pederasty, a rigid hierarchy of age, citizenship, and power. The adult citizen had to occupy the dominant role. Yielding to the passive position brought civic disgrace, surrendering the self-command required to govern the city. These dynamics were public. In the gymnasium, a male body was turned into a civic object, a tool for athletic training and highly structured admiration. Meanwhile, women's desires were largely ignored or pathologized by male record keepers. Figures like Sappho remain isolated fragments because their intimacy bypassed male authority. But remember, Greek visibility was not equality. It proves a society can celebrate same-sex acts while remaining deeply hierarchical and restrictive to anyone outside the elite class. So how did we move from those ancient roles to the modern word homosexual? Michel Foucault identified a major shift in the 19th century. Laws stopped looking at a forbidden act and started defining a defective species of person. Doctors, police, and psychiatrists began mapping bodies and neighborhoods to categorize what they saw as deviants. This produced what historians call a hostile archive. There's a cruel irony here. The same clinical vocabulary used to pathologize people provided the first time many individuals had a name for themselves. People took those clinical insults and revised them. They used the state's own labels to find each other and build political movements. Modern gay identity was forged inside the very bureaucratic machinery built to erase it. Today, our categories provide life-saving clarity and a sense of belonging. Realizing our ancestors didn't use these labels adds a layer of honesty to the record. We can see them in their own world instead of forcing them into ours. The history of same-sex desire is found in fragments. It's the record of people who loved and survived, even when the laws and language of their time gave them no way to describe it. Their lives prove that human variation will always be so much larger than the systems built to contain it.
Thank you for watching. If something in this resonated with you, then you're already closer than you think. If you're ready to go deeper, there's a link below to my book, Gay Through History: What the Evidence Really Shows About Same-Sex Love, Sex, and Survival. This isn't theory. It's a framework you can actually use. Tap the link below and step into it.